Hello, this is Dr. Bob and Debbie DiMaria. Thank you once again for joining our Half-Off Health program. And tonight, we are going to talk about something very near and dear to everybody's heart, Deb. Detoxification. Everybody wants to detox. They come in the office, emails, phone calls. Dr. Bob, what can I take to clean my body out? You've probably read a magazine, a TV show. Somebody's trying to sell you a product. Well, I have good news. You don't have to buy anything. It's what you do to you that impacts yourself. It's powerful, isn't it?
It is powerful. You know what, Dr. Bob? One of the things I want to bring to the forefront, and I just have seen this in some magazines. I've also heard people come into the office. People want to use detox as really like a weight loss product. And they don't realize that your body goes through cycles. Now let me tell you something before you start your detoxification program. When you start your detoxification program, yes, you might lose some weight, especially if you follow the plan similar to what we'd like to give you tonight, because it's really opposite of basically what you're doing right now. But your body will normalize after a period of time. So if you want to go on a weight loss diet per se, or a lifestyle, whichever you decide to call it, you need to carry that on through your lifetime. And then that you will see permanent and lasting weight loss. Now, other people think that what happens to them, they don't realize some people will gain weight on a detoxification program. Well, you know why? See, the chemicals that they have in their body because of the food that they're eating, their choices, often have toxins in it. And toxins have weight to it, basically. It adds weight to your cells, to your tissues. And so what happens is when you start going off the detox, sometimes your body doesn't lose but holds on to water. And that's what I want to boil down to. Most of the detoxification, whether it is in a bad way like we talked about holding on to the water, or losing some weight at first, which is actually losing the water, it's mostly water at first. It is the lifestyle you need to change for permanent weight loss.
That's pretty intense, but you know what? I can tell you, there's so many things I want to share with everybody. First, I want you to look at your thigh and buttocks, and I'm not saying this to be funny or unkind. Cellulite in a person's body is actually stored toxins. Pretty much what Debbie was saying to you. But it's stored toxins in fat. Now, when somebody comes into our office and I'm looking at them, just observing them, I always look at their wrist. And if I have somebody, when I'm looking at their wrist and I don't see bone, but I see puffiness, or it just looks like a tube and there's no contour that you can actually see bone, I know exactly what Debbie just said is true. Their body is holding on to fluid because their body is toxic and their body's keeping the toxins in solution. Some of you could detoxify your body just by drinking water. Just water. Because I know so many of you drink too much soda pop. You see, the issue with soda pop is all the chemicals are in there. I want you to look at your soda. Either now, just turn the TV up so you can still listen to me. You look for an item called sodium benzoate. Sodium benzoate is the preservative in soda that also causes food allergies, which means it's going to cause water retention. So anytime you feel really boggy and just squishy, for lack of a better term, your body is holding on to toxins. Now, if you increase water, just like Debbie said, the cells will start dumping toxins. So it's almost a catch-22 for some of you. You can start drinking water, hold on to it. But if you start drinking water over time, I will guarantee you, you will start to lose some weight. What I'm holding in my hand right now is a lemon. And in one of the books that we've been blessed to write, it's Dr. Bob's Guide to Optimal Health. It's a Bible-based devotional. It's on our website. The very first tip is we encourage our patients, our clients, to take a wedge of lemon, squeeze it, put it in water, warm water preferred. You could add some parsley to it if you so choose to. First thing in the morning. It doesn't have to be a lot of water, 4 to 6 ounces. It's going to promote digestion and the healing process.
Dr. Bob, let's start from the beginning. Most people right now are eating things that they shouldn't be eating.
Really, Deb?
Yes. And what we have to do is say, okay, this is what you're eating now. Let's take a look at your eating habits for long-term health. Most people don't think about what they eat today is what their body and the energy from their body, the functions of their body, their eyes, their ears, their brain, it's going to be like tomorrow. See, we don't see the cause and effect of what we eat in who we are and the person that we want to become. So, let me tell you, let's just start with a couple things. First of all, when we talk about fruit, a lot of people consider fruit coming from the can. They never would think about eating fresh fruit. We're going to talk about that. Another item that is really popular, very, very popular in most households, is cereal. And cereal is not just for breakfast anymore. Cereal can be for supper. I know of a lot of single people especially because it's easy. They go and they get the cereal box. They either eat it just as a snack or with possibly even canned fruit and milk. There's dairy. Guess what most of your sugar or most of your cereal is laced with? Just what I was saying, sugar. And so you're getting added sugars without even thinking about it because you're thinking cereal's good for you. The last thing I want to mention is fast food eating. We tend to never think about, we're going to be out today, we might get hungry, I don't know if I'm going to get home for dinner, I have this meeting to go to, and it's so easy to drive through a drive-through window at the fast food restaurant and pick up some of these tasty morsels of salted potatoes.
Sugar-coated, by the way.
This as our #1 vegetable in the United States, French fries, and thinking that we can get enough energy that's going to last for the rest of the night from these. Dr. Bob, we've got to look at what we're doing. We need a paradigm shift.
Well, you know, it's kind of interesting, Deb, because we talked about this in a couple of our books that we've written, is that there's something in the trans fat when they make French fries called acrylamide, which is a leading cause of breast cancer. And as I mentioned to you off the camera here, is that they coat French fries with sugar to give them the golden brown look. And I know from experience that French fries can cause ADHD and a lot of other health challenges in kids. So, I mean, this is a real huge issue. And I want to talk about a couple, there's so many things that we can talk about, but going to the breakfast cereals, I want you to become label savvy because what we're seeing now is the first ingredient is probably whole wheat or corn. Now, now watch this, what I'm going to share, because a lot of people don't realize this. Unless you're eating cereal that's USDA organic, statistically, that corn and that wheat is from genetically modified plants. What we are seeing an epidemic of, now Debbie and I have been involved in natural health care since the mid to late 1970s. We did not have this epidemic, but we are seeing so many people that have gluten sensitivities. So you could have a gluten sensitivity with bloating, weight gain, water retention, just because of your breakfast cereal. So I want you to start looking at the ingredients. Now, in our household, if we have any kind of cereal that Deb might use to make Rice Krispie rice cereal treats, it's organic brown rice cereal. It's not GMO. So you might have a child right now that has dark circles on their eyes, underneath their eyes, doing poorly in school, and you're giving them some kind of frosted cereal for breakfast with cow's milk. You say, well, Dr. Bob, I thought cow's milk is good for you. Well, listen to what we're saying, because we don't want to ruffle any feathers. Cow's milk, ice cream, cottage cheese, yogurt is probably one, especially if it's not organic, one of the leading causes of chronic allergies in individuals and skin breaking out, because the dairy comes from lactating cows. So a better, because Debbie always talks about this, good, better, best, never let it rest till good becomes better and better becomes best. You may want to start substituting, ready, unsweetened almond milk, unsweetened coconut milk. If you want to add a little pizzazz to it, sprinkle on some stevia, put a couple squirts of stevia, throw a little cinnamon on your cereal. So you're starting to improve your choices. So it's kind of like, I'm going to tell you right now, I have a lady that came into our office. She lost 25 pounds just by eliminating gluten, Deb. 25 pounds. Because what was going on is the gluten was tricking her body. We've had people come into the office that have had exhausted adrenal glands, where two glands located on top of your kidneys, because of their addiction to breakfast pastries, sandwiches, pizza, which is like
universal.
Flying saucers of death.
Well, you know what, Dr. Bob, when we talk about these type of things, as you're talking about the gluten-free diet, there are so many other things that we don't realize that our body could have the allergies to. And once we find that out, then we're able to eliminate. But why is it that our bodies usually crave? For example, you said a key. You talked about adrenal glands. Well, even if you have low adrenal glands, which many people in society have today because of the stress or the time factors, their schedule that they have on their lives, they desire salt. So we tend to crave that food, which really is the worst for us. Why is that?
Well, it's a couple things. People who have adrenal gland weakness, the adrenal glands move minerals in your body. So if your adrenal glands are exhausted, you're going to crave salty food. In our household, we use something called Celtic sea salt, which replaces the natural minerals inside of your body. Now, here's a couple other thoughts for everybody when it comes to food, food allergies, and detoxification. What we have found is if you don't have adequate oil, now on our websites and in our books we talk about essential fatty acid testing. If you don't have the appropriate oil in your body, there's going to be little holes in your intestines which will cause a leaky gut syndrome. So you may be eating a food that, if it's undigested protein particles, will go through the leaky sieve. Your body will see it as a foreign invader. It'll raise the flag for endorphins, because that's the feel-good hormone, because your body is now in a battle. So what's happening is that you are subliminally, subconsciously, that's comfort food, Deb, feeling good, but you're feeling good because you're not adequately digesting your food. It's going through the intestines I just mentioned. So if you have dry skin, flaky skin, if you don't use olive oil, if you don't eat with avocados, if you're not taking flax oil, if you're not supplementing with a marine-based oil, you're going to have inflammation in your intestines. That inflammation is going to cause a leaky gut syndrome. That leaky gut syndrome is going to cause chronic toxicity inside of your body. And that's one of the reasons, we'll be talking about this book more the next segment, we wrote Dr. Bob's Drugless Guide to Detoxification. So it's not about taking an herb, it's not going on a 25-day fast, it's about eating some of these foods and avoiding some other items. The number one thing you're going to want to do is Debbie is talking about. You want to avoid canned food, drink pure water. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back. Hello, this is Dr. Bob and Debbie DeMaria. Welcome once again to our half-hour health program. And we've been talking about detoxification, and everybody wants to take something. And it's very interesting because in the book that I just showed you, we have a toxicity questionnaire. And on the toxicity questionnaire, it talks about all the different parts of the body. A very common area that we see that a person is toxic is their skin. And if you look at your neck, and if you have little skin tabs around your neck right now, you can go and have those taken off with a laser, and guess what? They'll come back. If you have psoriasis, if you have acne, any kind of skin rash, varicose veins, spider veins, or hemorrhoids, and if you have little red bumps on your body, and they're called cherry hemangiomas, you're plugged up. That's your segue, Deb.
I got it, Dr. Bob. And what are you plugged up with? Well, I'll tell you what. This is an oil filter, and it's analogous to your liver that's in your body. And your liver really sits right over here. Well, the liver is your main detoxifying organ in your body. And signals on your body and in your body are where we could tell if this, the liver, is functioning properly. You want to keep your liver clean. Now, one of the things that we always talk about for people, besides the food changes that you're going to want to make, that Dr. Bob will talk with you about, is we talk about a castor oil pack. And the reason is it's simple. It helps not only get your liver healthy and clean, but it helps you keep your liver healthy and clean. I would suggest you look that up on our website at druglessdoctor.com, and you can see how a castor oil pack is probably 1 time or 2 times a week to start off, and continually doing it, taking an hour out of your time where you could still read, you could do a few things with it on you, will make a difference in your life. We want to help you change your liver.
You know, that's really good, Deb. And what's nice about the castor oil pack, it's low tech, low budget, and you can use it over and over again, and it will make a huge difference inside of your body. So let's talk one more item before we talk about foods. We talked about the canned food. Now, we don't eat canned food. Actually, we eat very little or no canned food at all. One of the concerns is the lining inside of canned food has a plastic in it, and that plastic is called BPA, or bisphenol A, which we've been talking about for years. We do not eat canned food. If you eat a lot of canned food, I would encourage you to make sure that you focus on the cruciferous vegetables, which include broccoli, cabbage, and cauliflower. Now, these are probably the 3 most significant foods that you can eat to detoxify your body. Debbie and I eat these foods every day. We eat at least a half a red apple. Red apples are different than green apples. Green apples tend to stagnate digestion. In Ayurvedic medicine, you want proper digestion. That means you want your colon to be moving in a timely fashion. So we eat a half a red apple every day. Now I'm going to give you a little formula, which is an anti-tumor formula. You can take this apple, you can cut it in half, then cut it into segments. You can place some cloves inside of a few of the segments, saute it with water for a few minutes until fork tender or translucent. When it's still warm, if you so choose, you can throw a little cinnamon on it, non-sweetened cinnamon, by the way, and eat these tender pieces of apple, which will promote digestion. On the apple skin, there's something called pectin, P-E-C-T-I-N. Pectin promotes digestion also. What's really unique about the apple, it has a high ORAC, O-R-A-C. And ORAC has to do with the amount of free radical elimination in the body. This is probably the very best detoxification food that each and every one of you, including your children, can use every day. This happens to be a plum. I don't have a beet with me today, but this is a beet. Now what I want you to do is I want you to eat at least a 1/3 cup of beets every day. Why? Beet fiber will lower your cholesterol 40%. The apple will lower your cholesterol 13%. Beets promote liver health. Now I'm going to throw a new little thought out to you. There's something in beets, a chemical called betaine. Betaine, in case you want to do a search on that. Betaine will help lower your homocysteine, which is a chemical that elevates in people who have potential heart problems. So if you can understand what Debbie and I are trying to teach you is, you don't have to go out and buy a bottle of beets or a bottle of apples. You have them. They're in your local grocery store, preferably organic. And finally, it's carrots. Now, I want you to listen to this because Debbie talked about the liver. The liver is the storehouse for vitamins A, D, E, and K. Those are fat-soluble vitamins. When you are in a very toxic environment, your liver is going to work harder. It's going to be compromised. It's going to be stressed. It's going to be pushed to the limits. Well, it's going to use up A. Remember, the liver is the storehouse for vitamins A, D, E, and K. So if your liver is really working hard, it's going to need more vitamin A. Well, vitamin A is also in your eyes. So I know there's someone right now that has little floaters in front of their eyes called vitreous floaters. Those will go away over time by eating carrots. 4 or 5 baby carrots, 1 medium carrot. Carrots are a great source of vitamin A precursor. Your skin will improve by just adding carrots alone.
Dr. Bob, that's really amazing. And as you started talking about all these vegetables, I have 2 things that I want to talk about, and it's very important. If you eat organic foods over a year's period of time, you can lose 7 pounds just by eating organic foods. Now, the second point I'd like to make is really an encourager for you to eat organic foods. Many of our foods today are genetically engineered. It used to be called genetically modified, but now they're actually genetically engineered because they are making foods out of particulars that we probably don't want to have in our body. Amazingly, when Dr. Bob picked that plum, which was representing his beet today, up, it reminded me of an article I just read, very intense article about sugar beets. You see, part of our sugar comes from sugar cane, and the rest of it comes from sugar beets. Most of the sugar beets today are genetically engineered. So if you are eating any product that has sugar in it, you are already getting toxins in your body, and we have no clue at this point in time what effect genetically engineered food has on your future.
You know, Deb, what you just said is almost like incomprehensible. Because now what you see, and I know that you've seen this also, because we look at packages all the time, we see the label organic sugar. And I know that you and I have spent different parts of the United States, and we were at one place where they were raising sugar cane, and the one lady that was a part of that said she would never eat sugar because of all the herbicides and pesticides that they put on the sugar. You can see most of the sugar beets are used for sugar, and it's amazing because you and I were talking about food and ketchup. Ketchup today, there is not a ketchup out there that doesn't have some kind of major sweetener that it will throw off your whole body system. So we're just trying to help educate. So what do you do? How do you detoxify, Dr. Bob? You want to drink at least a quart of water every day. Eat your apple, beets, and carrots. You want to get this book. There's a Toxicity Questionnaire, Dr. Bob's Drugless Guide to Detoxification. Great book, very easy read. Not talking about any particular product, maybe some milk thistle. I'm going to also encourage you, finally, red, yellow, and orange bell peppers. Great source of vitamin C. Vitamin C helps heal the body. If you do have a dishwasher at home, try to avoid synthetic dishwashing detergents, because when you breathe them in, what happens to you is it's toxic to your body. You know, we have been doing this for years. You maybe have been watching us for years. I want you to finally make that decision to come to see us, wherever you're at in the world right now. We're in Cleveland, Ohio, the Cleveland area. For those locally, we're in Elyria. We normally charge $165 for an exam and an x-ray. We'll be happy to do it to you for only $25. You say, Dr. Bob, why are you going to do that for? Because we are here to save your life. We know toxic bodies are unhealthy bodies. One last thought. Ladies, do you have a little bronzing here on your left cheek? If you do, you need to call us today. And finally, this last segment. If you get your gallbladder out, you need to make sure you call me today, because we have seen major health problems. Because if your gallbladder is gone, that means your liver has been compromised and congested. We talk about it in the book. Make the call today. It's a matter of life and death. Call. You'll be glad you did.